with the boys.
Okay, so for this alleged crime to have occurred, the two boys would have had to have been on the outside of the car. The girl would have had to get back in the car, and then that supposedly the carjacking would have occurred after the laughing and joking. I mean,
no, that is incorrect. The carjacking, the supposed or alleged carjacking, occurred before she was seen in the parking lot in the fire lane with the boy sitting in her car laughing and joking, and she was playing with them.
Okay, now do you know if the girl had a cell phone, and do you know what day did this incident occur, and when was it reported to the police?
It occurred on June the 5th, 2009, and according to her statements, they didn't report it until June the 6th at midnight, 2009.
So it would have been at least 18 to 24 hours, or I'm sorry, 36 to 48 hours after it occurred.
That is correct.
Okay, now let's kind of switch gears here. When did the trial occur, and how long did the trial last?
It was for 3 days.
And what was the date of the trial, and how much longer was the trial after the incident?
It started on August the 23rd, and then we also was in court the 24th and also the 25th.
Now, was this like 2 months after the incident or 14 months after the incident?
It was 14 months after the incident.
Okay. And did you hire an attorney, or was there a court-appointed attorney?
We were assigned to our case a court-appointed attorney that would be a trial attorney, and that was Carl Mong.
Okay, and do you recall which judge picked him out?
Yes, it was Judge Harold Flagel.
Judge Flagel. And was Judge Flagel the trial judge?
Yes, he was.
Okay, now we need to get a little bit of background about how the court system works in Wichita, Kansas. And do you know who the associate district attorney is for the juvenile division?
The associate is Jonathan Sullivan.
I'm sorry, Jonathan would be the assistant.
Correct.
Who is Jonathan's boss?
Oh, yes, Ron Pascal.
Ron Pascal.
Yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And who was the court reporter during this 3-day trial?
Well, at this time we didn't know it, but we didn't know she was his wife, but it was Corinne Pascal.
I see. Okay. Now, there was a 3-day trial, and that took place 14 months after the alleged incident. And how soon after your son was arraigned did Carl enter the case? Do you recall what time period that was?
Just not exactly, because before we went to a jury trial, we had just a regular court-appointed attorney.
Okay.
Oh, I do remember. It was December. It was last year, December of 2009.
Okay. Okay, so from December to August, Carl had time to interview witnesses, to talk to you about his game plan. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, now, at any point in time, did Carl tell you what witnesses he planned to interview?
Well, he did mention that about the co-defendant.
Okay.
And he said that he had thought about the principal, and he also mentioned the girl's little sister who was 7 years old. He thought about interviewing her.
Okay, now did Carl tell you if he had a chance to either personally interview the other boy or have a private investigator interview the other boy?
What he told us was he looked up the name for the boy,
Okay.
and that there were several people of that name, and he could not contact him.
Okay. Now, to the best of your knowledge, did Carl ever tell you if anybody ever contacted the boy? Did Carl mention to you that?
Carl mentioned to us that Jonathan Sullivan, the prosecutor, would be had subpoenaed him to be a state witness.
Okay, but I just want to make sure I understand this is clear. Going into that 3-day trial for basically assault and robbery, did Carl tell you if he interviewed and spoke to and knew what the other boy would testify to?
He never made any contact with the other boy.
Okay, and obviously the other boy was there, and if the other boy testified under oath...
No, the other boy was not even at the courtroom.
I mean, the other boy, though, was there during the alleged incident.
That is correct.
Okay, now, so this would be a fairly material witness for the prosecution if this allegedly occurred.
Yes.
And Mr. Sullivan, the prosecutor, chose not to call this material witness.
Yes, you're right.
Okay. Now, so we, aside from maybe some other kids or some other parents who might have seen the teenage girl drive away unharmed, we do have the testimony of the principal who saw the kids laughing and joking, and we have the testimony of the alleged victim. Did your son testify?
No, he did not.
Okay, and going into the trial, did your son's attorney tell you whether or not he wanted to ask your son to testify?
He said he may use him to testify, or he may not. But we basically exercised the fifth due to the fact that the case, we believed in the judicial system, and we knew this case was so ridiculous. We knew that the jurors would see right through it.
Okay, now let's back up a little bit to 14 months seems like a long time for a 14, 15-year-old kid to have hanging over his head this potential felony conviction. And I understand that Carl entered the case in December. Do you feel like Carl kept you apprised of what was normal, or did he tell you this could take a couple months or this could take a year? Did you have any expectation of when this would all be cleared up?
Yeah, Carl would give us different dates, like it would happen in January or February, or something was going to happen in March, and he just kept prolonging it, and then he would tell us a court date, and then it would he'll call us and it would be dismissed, or he would let us know that the other side. In fact, one time he called us in, I think it was June or May, to let us know that the alleged victim and her mother were going on vacation.
Okay. Okay. All right. Now, let's focus on the day of the trial. To the best of your recollection, did Carl tell you whether or not the jury trial would start that day, or were you surprised? I know you mentioned that you had asked a couple of your friends to come along. Did Carl tell you that this is the day we've been waiting for? You know, we're going to get her done today, or?
Well, he had mentioned it. He had told us that, but he had also said that several times before, and so we had went to court several times under the impression that we were going to go to trial, and It didn't happen.
Okay, now, did he, and I might have already asked you this question, But did he tell you if he was going to call any witnesses in your son's behalf?
He did not prepare us. He did not call any witnesses. And no, he did not tell us he wasn't. But I did question him afterward.
Okay. Why? Okay. So you're going into this trial, and your son is facing a potential felony conviction for something that he supposedly did when he was 14, and you were clueless as to whether or not or which witnesses Carl would call. Is that correct?
Yes, I was.